Hi guys, and welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. It's a beautiful, glorious day today. We're on at 5:30 here, and it's been a really productive day. I've been working on my oils. You can't see them, but they're the abundance, cleansing and healing oils that I've had for 13 years. So we've had new mixers and I've been doing some energy work with them, so they're ready for you. On the website, they're one of my best sellers, which is great, and the messages that you send back after being healed with them is fantastic. So that's been great. And productive work as well. Yeah, I've just got Diary of an Accidental Psychic in paperback here. I got 100 copies, and Hold That Thought. So I'm going to be signing them and putting a beautiful channeled message for each one of you who decide to buy it on the website. So that's, lots of people have been asking for that, and that's why I've done it. So that's great. Today's a really interesting day for the subject I'm going to tackle now. And if you hear lots of screaming and shouting outside of kids, it's because they're next door. They've got a swimming pool and it's summer and it's amazing. Love the sound of kids laughing and having fun. And that kind of leads me on to this subject about, I think one of the hardest things in the world is abuse by all of us, really, without even realizing. Sometimes we can be abusive, we can be emotionally abusive, we can attack people without realizing because of how we're feeling at any given moment. But this topic today is more about how we've been hurt by physical and emotional attacks, abuse of our family and friends. It's really, really a challenging subject because there's so many aspects of why people would do what they do, but I'm going to try and tackle it a little bit. There's many times I do videos and often you would point out certain things that I've missed out, and I thank you for that. It's very difficult for me to run through a full day seminar of certain subjects I talk about around the world, in corporate, in schools, wherever I'm asked to go. And I can't do that in 10 minutes. So I appreciate your input underneath these messages. It helps others when they're reading. So please do that. When I was a little boy, my father used to open the door after coming home from work, and literally I used to freeze and shake in my boots. I used to quickly run outside and check the soil to see if there was no footmarks in the soil where he planted his fruit and vegetables, because one of his it was almost like it was a regimental thing, because he was in the war and he'd come in, he'd go upstairs, have a strip wash, and then come downstairs and go outside and check the garden. If there was a footstep anywhere, like my footstep, because I was playing in the garden with a ball, he'd give me a good spank. And it got to the point where the spank didn't really hurt anymore. The pain was more waiting for the spank, and then after it I felt a massive release, and then I'd jump over the fence and go and play. And it didn't affect me anymore because I got so used to it. When I say it didn't affect me, of course it affects everyone when we get a smack, but I think we all get affected differently. So that's what happened to me. But I'm going to tell you something very interesting now. I turned the age of 13 or 14 after my mum died, and I was in the kitchen and my dad walked in, and there was a bottle of milk, and we had glass bottles then, not cartons, and I turned and knocked the milk over, and my dad came, and he used to use his teeth against his lip when he was ready to hit us. So it was, and his hand went up like that, and I remember from nowhere something just happened to me. I can't explain what it was and why it was at that particular time. Maybe you can help with this, I don't know. But I turned and I looked at him and I said, just look at your face, just look at yourself. You're about to hit me over some milk being spilled. Dad, it's not the milk that you're angry about. It's you who's angry. Look at your anger. And I say this with my hand on my heart. It was the first time I ever spoken to him like that, with no fear. It was at that moment that no hit from my father across the head or wherever it was with his sticks that he had to use to beat us didn't affect me anymore. It kind of reminds me a bit like an abusive person with an animal. There's only so much a dog can take and it will turn and then bite back. And that's how I felt I behaved. It was my turn to turn and bite back. And you know, that was the last time he ever raised a finger to me. You see, what you experience from people who bully you, because that's what it is, it's a complete and utter bully. It's a domination, being dominant over somebody who is fearful. So they almost thrive on that fear. They love the fear of you and they will use it against you. Only when, at the moment when you think to yourself, I can't take this anymore, that human nature, something within you just flicks and then you react in whatever way you react. And a bit like at school, there was a boy at school who hated me because I was hated a lot. It's the story of my life. I'm always hated by somebody, as you probably are too. And I was at the bottom of the stairs ready to go upstairs, and somebody ran down and said, Mark, whatever you do, don't go upstairs. Why? Because so-and-so's got a knife and he's ready to stab you. And this feeling over my body came, this fear. And the teacher ran upstairs, and sure enough, he had a knife. And I wasn't a fighter at school, and all my friends will tell you that. I'd like to play and laugh and joke, but never fight. I went upstairs and I stood next to him and looked at him in his face. And all I could think of is this guy wanted to kill me. And I think for the first time I threw a punch at somebody and hit somebody. And he fell to the floor. We went down to the headmaster's office and we walked out of the office after being reprimanded, both of us. And he held his hand out and said that was a really, really powerful punch. And he went to shake my hand. And I look back on that moment and see that bullies seem to respect people who stand up to them. And I remember the story of a beautiful lady who came to me. And I never asked any questions, and she lied down and I gave her a healing session, and she came a few times. There were a lot of tears, they were all love. My hand was against her heart and clearing the fear from her head, and she'd keep coming over the space of a year. And I remember one time, after I finished the healing session, I always smile when the healing session's over. And I remember she opened her eyes and she looked deep into my eyes and she said these words that I never forget. I know what I need to do now, Mark. And I smiled and we cuddled and she went. And a few months later, I got a message from this beautiful lady. She sent me a message and she said, I'm now in Italy. I think it was Rome. She said, I'm in Rome. She said, Mark, I have met new beautiful people. I'm enjoying myself. My life is of freedom. I'm happy. And she said, I just want to tell you a little story. And the story goes that she was in a relationship with somebody that she loved very deeply. And through one reason or another, her partner was abusive and used to hit her. And all the time she came to me, she released this fear. And at one point she realized when she opened her eyes with me that she now has the strength to move forward. And again, it was like the moment I decided to turn and say no more, enough is enough. And I faced my truth, I faced my fear, I faced what I needed to do, the challenges and tests that we all face. You see, my friends, we all go through this challenge, this abuse, one way or another. And it is only you who can find the power and the strength to overcome any given test like this. And I promise you with my hand on my heart, when you find the power inside you to face any fear, and you realize that it was never anything to do with you, because it never is, that you can let go and move forward with your life. And I send this message to all the people who are in an abusive family relationship. I send this message that you can overcome it by standing up to it and then letting it go, accepting it, and walk away with love. That's what I did, and I send my love to you. If you're going through a challenging moment right now, you can do it. You can do it, and I promise you, when you do, like the lady in Italy who now lives a happy life with a new husband, and I think she's got 2 daughters now, she is happy in love with a man who respects her and loves her with all his heart, because you only deserve that, nothing less. Everything else is merely a test for you to grow stronger than and walk away from. From my heart to yours, guys, have a beautiful day. Stay strong, and remember, you are the most amazing, strongest lion in the world. Act on that and bring it out today. Make a change. Be your change. Only you can do it. From my heart to yours, take care.